Hey guys.
And welcome back to a brand new episode of the Tech Buddies podcast. It's been a while since both of us recorded together like this, and just because Gautam had his exams, so I was doing most of the episodes solo. We tried to do some collaborations with JT Jones and Navneet, and I made an episode together just to keep the content fresh for you guys. But now we are kind of back. It's the new year. Happy New Year to all of you guys, first of all. And obviously, the first tech event of the year is usually CES 2025, and generally we try to cover it together with another episode. But we thought we can dedicate an episode this year to CES 2025 because there have been a lot of announcement, especially in the PC world. Nvidia launching their new 50 series graphics card, Snapdragon launching their new X chips, which is their budget line up with the ARM this thing, and then there's obviously the crazy displays from Samsung, LG, Panasonic. Dell has rebranded their entire lineup of laptops. There's a lot to talk about from CES, so I thought we can do that. So I think let's start off with the biggest launch of CES 2025, which has to be the Nvidia 50 series of graphic cards.
Yeah, so nearly 2 years back, I'm not sure if we covered it, but chances are we did. Nvidia launched their 4000 series of graphics card. Now, finally, 2 years later, we have got their new generation of graphics card, and this year, Nvidia is all about focusing on doubling down on the performance. So this year, let me just start off with the models that are available. Uh, Nvidia launched their latest and next generation of RTX 5000 series GPUs, and it's powered by a new architecture called the Blackwell architecture. There's a total of four graphics cards, as usual, for the initial announcement, and then after that, the other editions will come. So the RTX 5070, the 5070 Ti, the RTX 5080, and the 5090. So we don't have a 5060 like how we had a 40 like a 3060 or something like that, and I don't think so there's a 4060 either. So just saying that 4070 is now the base. I mean 5070 is now the base, and the most interesting products out of these two are the base model RTX 5070 and the top end 5090, which is the ones usually that get most coverage. So the rumors that were going around when the product initially was unveiled is that the RTX 5070, which is the lowest end card, is as powerful as the RTX 4090 for a fraction of the cost. So we'll get to the cost also later, but that was the rumor that was going on. And uh, the RTX 5090 is, you won't believe it, but it's almost two times more powerful than its predecessor, the RTX 4090, which is a crazy leap in performance in such a small time. And this is obviously Nvidia's claim. And uh, once I get to the pricing, you'll realize why it isn't that surprising. But yeah, RTX series, 50,000 series has a few new things. For example, this generation introduces an RTX neural shader, which brings like AI into like programmable shaders to enhance like real time rendering of things like materials and lighting. So basically, using AI, it will basically decrease the load, the actual load on the processor to actually process uh, to actually process everything in real time, whereas it's just adding like um, programmable shaders, then neural faces, RTX neural faces, along with ray traced hair and skin, mega geometry. So this will greatly affect the realism of many of these AAA games that you're playing. You'll notice a lot more detail in the hair and skin, like it said. Then it's not the first time that Nvidia is using AI in their uh, in any of their products. They have used it before, but this time they're doubling down on it to improve the performance. NVIDIA also showed off DLSS 4, which is baked into the newer generations of these cards, which can enable an 8 times performance boost over traditional rendering methods thanks to like multi-frame generation. So technically you're not getting real frames. It's generating those frames. It's using AI to generate additional frames, and because of AI generating these frames, you get a major performance boost in any of these games. And without DLSS enabled, games can be these AAA games can be really, really slow. So the previous generation had a 4 times performance boost. This generation doubles down on it and gets an 8 times performance boost. And DLSS 4 is moving on to a transformer model. So a transformer model is basically what powers generative AI and large language models in general. And this is why DLSS 4 is able to generate a lot more frames than the previous DLSS 3. And this transform model also enhances DLSS's super resolution and ray reconstruction features, so you get sharper images and more realistic lighting in your games. And right now, they've announced, I think, over 75 games that support DLSS 4 at launch, and obviously, more creators will support it once more games come out. So what this means for you as a consumer is the frame rates are going to be a lot more better. It's going to get a lot more realistic. Uh, but this is all through AI, and it's not like actual. Uh, it's not an actual performance boost that way. Then the RTX 5090, and so if I were to go to the pricing right now, I don't want to go too much into detail because I myself am not uh, a graphics card expert. Maybe Navneet is better suited for things like that. But I will cover the pricing and things because that's what affects the end consumer, and that's what most people are actually interested about. How expensive has it become this time around? So the RTX 5090 is at $2,000. The RTX 5080 is at $999. The RTX 5070 Ti or is at $749. And the best thing is that the RTX 5070 is at $549. So $550. Incredible value if you think about it. With DLSS on, it's able to give the performance similar to the 4090, which was a over $1,000 GPU. So it's very value for money, and it's likely it's going to be out of stock the second it comes out because scalpers and you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, and in fact, the interesting thing about this is that the AMD was planning on launching a couple of graphics cards to rival this, um, to rival Nvidia. But when they saw the crazy pricing that Nvidia has had for the 5070, they kind of held back on their own uh, announcement so that they can rework their pricing so that it can be slightly more competitive, because they really thought they had it coming for Nvidia, and Nvidia kind of shocked everyone with this pricing. In my opinion, the 5090, 5080 are slightly overkill. Uh, but I think the 5070 is what would do good for most people, because, but obviously, if you're working in a very uh, in an environment where you need every resource possible, then obviously you need a more expensive processor. Now, I'm not aware what NVIDIA Project Digits is, so maybe Atharv, if you know anything, you can talk about
Yeah,
it.
so basically, Nvidia just shocked everyone who's working on supercomputers, quantum computers, and all of those by launching this $3,000 supercomputer. It's powered by the same Blackwell, whatever CPU, GPU, Blackwell GPUs, and Nvidia claims that it's a AI supercomputer on your desk. So powered by the Nvidia GB10 Grace Blackwell super chip, Project Digits delivers a petaflop of AI performance in a power efficient, compact form factor, and uh, the NVIDIA AI software stack is pre-installed. It comes with 128 GB of RAM, and developers can use it to prototype, fine-tune, and interference large AI models up to 200 billion parameters locally and seamlessly deploy to the data center or the cloud. So basically, all the AI is everywhere. So this is um, basically for that. You get a 4 TB SSD as well. You have the Blackwell GPU, like I said, with one petaflop of AI compute. So basically, like I showed in the image of the pricing, the RTX 5090 can do 3400 AI tops, and I think tops is like tera operations per second. And if this is like petaflop, uh, I don't think it's the same, but it's like a huge amount of data that can be processed by these computers. So basically, It's a huge thing for AI, basically. So, uh, and it's $3,000, so the price is not cheap. But uh, yeah, Nvidia overall had a cool event at CES with their CEO Jensen Huang coming out with the cool new flashy leather jacket, and he could. It was like the whole. It was the most hyped event of CES 2025. So,
And
and I
everyone
think
is
they
saying every event his jacket gets more shinier and things like that.
and obviously the price of the GPUs are also increasing. He can
And
shine his
for
jacket
those of
more.
you who are
And
very like specific about like you don't care about the AI stuff, the VRAM in most models remains exactly the same as the previous gen. So if you have a 40,000 series or maybe a 3000 series graphics card and you're just a normal gamer, I wouldn't suggest upgrading because one, you're just it's mainly the AI that's doing the magic this time around rather
yeah,
than actual VRAM increasing. So keep that in mind because I didn't cover
and
it much when talking about it.
yeah,
And
another thing about Nvidia is they announced that they are working with MediaTek to launch a new mobile processor, mobile in the sense for laptops. So basically, Snapdragon now has competition from Nvidia also in terms of the Windows with ARM chips. And that's a good segue to the next topic, which is the Snapdragon X chip. You guys obviously remember the Snapdragon X Elite and the X Plus, which was launched um back in October or December, October or November, when they launched their Snapdragon 8 Elite as well. And those were the first CPUs to come with the ARM architecture, and it was all the rage for battery life and all of that. And the Snapdragon X chip is basically the same thing, but in it's a much cheaper version. So obviously there will be some cut downs. So the CPU is the Qualcomm Orion CPU. It's a 64-bit architecture, 8 cores, and GPU is the Qualcomm Adreno GPU, and they also have an NPU, the Qualcomm Hexagon NPU, and this has 45 tops, which is tera operations per second for AI tasks. Memory type LPDDR5X and capacity up to 64 GB of RAM, and storage you can have um, an NVMe SSD over PCIe Gen 4. It's based on a 4 nanometer process, have up to a 36 megapixel camera with 4K HDR video capture. Then they have their own 5G modem also if manufacturers want to use that. Then um, Qualcomm Fast Connect 7800 mobile connectivity system for Wi-Fi and Bluetooth Wi-Fi 7, 6E both are supported. All of those things, USB 4.0, and manufacturers can have up to 3 USB 4 ports and 2 USB 3.2 Gen 2 and 2 into 1 ports and one eUSB 2 port. So all of that is there. And yeah, there are some laptops that have already come out with this chip, and the one of them which most people are talking about is the Asus ZenBook A14, and people are calling it the MacBook Air competitor and stuff like that because this laptop is really light. I think the weight is just 2.18 pounds, which is half a pound less lighter than the M3 MacBook Air. And this laptop powered by the Qualcomm Snapdragon X processor has a claimed battery life of up to 32 hours. So even if you like consider half of the claimed value, which is around 16 hours. That's crazy for a Windows laptop if you consider that. And not only that, Asus is undercutting the price of this laptop compared to the Apple's M3 Air as well. So this laptop will start with the base model of 8 cores of the Snapdragon X chip at $1099, and they are launching it in mid January with 32 GB of RAM, 1 TB SSD, 14-inch OLED display, and yeah, and Asus is also planning to launch a even cheaper $899 version, which is slightly heavier at 2.4 pounds, and will come only with 16 GB of RAM and 512 GB of storage. And the battery is 70 watt hours compared to the 52.6 watt hour battery you get in the MacBook Air, and you get USB 4 Type C port for charging, USB A 3.2 Gen 2 port, 3.5 millimeter headphone jack, full size HDMI port, and all of those ports. Um, yeah, so basically, Asus I think has done a pretty decent job with this laptop, and we'll have to see when it comes out what the actual battery life figures are. But overall, it looks like a really good competitor to the MacBook Air. Um, Moving on, I think we can talk about some of the displays that were launched. First of all, let's talk about Samsung Vision AI. So, Samsung has brought some of the AI features to their TVs as well. So, Vision AI brings generative wallpapers, live translation, click to search, and more AI features. And they are also collaborating with Microsoft's Copilot for uh, some more AI features on their TVs. And it'll come to their entire TV lineup, including Neo QLED, OLED, QLED, and even the Frame TV. um, Live translation could be useful if you are watching a movie that with subtitles or things like that. And sometimes not all apps have the subtitles built in, so this could be useful. Click to search, you can use click to search to uh, get information about the actor in the movie or things like that. Some like in Amazon Prime, it comes built in with the X-ray
X-ray.
feature,
Yeah.
but yeah, but not all platforms have that. Like sometimes if I'm watching a movie on Netflix and I want to know which actor it is, now I can just use click to search. So that's a useful feature. But yeah, I mean, so most people are not happy that AI is coming to TVs as well and stuff like that. So it's kind of a mixed opinion. What do you guys think? You can let us know in the comments down below. And yeah, talking about the displays, there were a lot of displays launched. Some of them bendable, some of them stretchable, um, and a lot of monitors were launched as well, with the 27-inch form factor being the main highlight. So first, let's talk about the Samsung stretchable displays. So Samsung has launched stretchable displays, which looks pretty cool. I don't have much more information, so I'll just show you the video I found on Twitter about this. I mean, you can use it
Was
for a
this
lot
in
of applications.
CES?
Like,
This was in
yeah, these
CES,
are all
right?
in C. Yeah, so these can be used for rollable smartphones, and maybe you can put it on a fridge or something like that. Um, yeah, so we'll have to see what manufacturers do with these rollable displays. Yeah, it could be used as a maybe a wall. I mean, desk clock sort of a thing, which expands and gives you more information and stuff like that. So yeah, Samsung now has a rollable display, so it can be used in a lot of more form factors. Um, Coming to the other displays, some of the uh, displays that were launched by manufacturers, the main ones. The first is the LG bendable 5K gaming monitor, and uh, these are like um, 45-inch OLED monitors, but uh, it can the this OLED monitor can be switched from like flat to a 900 hour curve, giving users more flexibility. But this is not like the one which you can bend it manually, which you have seen before. This one happens automatically, and you can adjust it to stop at any particular curvature depending on your preference. Um, so that's an interesting thing by LG. And LG also announced their AI powered features, and LG calls their AI as affectionate intelligence or something like that. Uh, yeah, their G5 OLED TV has a 165 hertz refresh rate, and their C5 OLED and um, QNED9M come with 144 hertz refresh rate, with um the QNEDM also having AMD FreeSync Premium and all of those features. So that's a good thing. Coming to Samsung's lineup, they have a new gaming monitor which includes a 500 hertz OLED monitor. Like I said, their TVs come with the new AI features, and they also introduced their Premiere 5, an active triple laser ultra short throw projector. And this device takes interactivity up a notch by allowing users to touch the projected image as if it were a touch screen. And Samsung demonstrated its potential with drawing and puzzle games as examples. The Premiere 5 can project a massive screen size up to 100 inches, so that's an interesting form factor. And Samsung revealed their Odyssey OLED G6, which boasts a staggering 500 Hz refresh rate with QHD resolution at 27 inches. And the Odyssey OLED G8, on the other hand, is what Samsung claims to be the world's first 27-inch 4K OLED gaming monitor with 240 Hz refresh rate, 165 pixels per inch, and a 0.03 millisecond response time. And both of these monitors support AMD FreeSync Premium, Nvidia G-Sync, and all of those good stuff. Um Panasonic made their comeback in TVs with their flagship series Z95B with a primary RGB tandem panel. So we saw the tandem OLED display tech with the iPad Pro as well. So that's now coming to TVs as well. They also have thermoflow aerodynamic cooling system offering what Panasonic calls extraordinary brightness, contrast, and color volume. Their lineup includes the 55-inch, 65-inch, and 77-inch models, all supporting AMD FreeSync, NVIDIA G-Sync, and 144 Hz refresh rates. And the TV also includes features for gamers like True Game Mode, and which optimizes visuals for gaming, and Game Mode sound enhances the audio for a more immersive experience. So overall, it was like a decent year at CES for displays. Moving on, since we are on displays, I think we can talk about HDMI 2.2. So the HDMI 2.2 standard is here, and you can now get 4K at 480 hertz and up to 12K resolution with 120 hertz refresh rate, and it's coming out this year. Um, the new specification comes with 96 Gbps of bandwidth, double what you get with HDMI 2.1, and it will be available in a new Ultra 96 HDMI cable. Yeah, so basically you get better frame rates and stuff like that with HDMI 2.2. Um, Moving on, as SanDisk quickly launched MagSafe SSD, so you can just connect it to your iPhone and record stuff on the go now that you have the option to record um, what is that log footage directly to an SSD and stuff like that. So that is there. Um, then Anchor has a new power bank with 165-watt charging capabilities and comes with retractable cables. So that's a cool thing. Um, yeah, then I think we can talk about the slightly bigger topics. Dell rebrands their entire lineup. So now you don't have the multiple these things which they had before, like the
Inspiron,
XPS, Latitude,
Latitude.
Inspiron. Yeah, all of those things are now gone, and you now just have Dell Pro, and Dell Pro Max, and under each of these there'll be three tiers. So base, plus, and premium. So it's a Dell Plus, a Dell Premium, a Dell Pro, Dell Pro Plus, Dell Pro Premium, and Dell Pro Max, Dell Pro Max Plus, and Dell Pro Max Premium. I don't know if it just cleared all the confusion or just increased the confusion even more, but yeah, I found an article which kind of summarized what their existing product lineup looks like and what it'll be, what the new lineup will look like. So the XPS is now the Dell Premium, the Inspiron Plus is the Dell Plus, and Inspiron is Dell base, but there's no additional identifier. The Latitude is the Dell Pro, the Dell Pro, Dell Pro Plus, and Dell Pro Premium. And the Precision lineup is the Dell Pro Max with, like I said, Dell Pro Max, Dell Pro Max Plus, and Dell Pro Max Premium.
I think
So,
for the people that understood the lineup before, this is a bit more complex. But for the people that didn't, this might be easier. I think it is that. Let's just hope
yeah,
we
but
understand it in a few weeks.
yeah, but I think I saw Linus Tech Tips video. There are a bunch of new features. I think Dell is the one of the first manufacturers to use the new LPCAM RAM and stuff like that. So overall, it looks pretty good. And I mean, at least they're trying to declutter their
Lineup.
whole lineup. So let's see what Dell has in store. But finding a perfect laptop from Dell is going to be really hard. Imagine going to the store and asking for a Dell Pro Max Premium Plus with a AMD also has a screwed up naming scheme now with their latest chips. So you get, I want this laptop with the AMD AI Max chip, and it's going to be a huge confusion. Moving on to Lenovo, Lenovo has shown off a rollable laptop concept, and they're launching it this year for a merely price of $3,500. The ThinkBook Plus Gen 6 is the name of the rollable laptop, and um, I mean, it was kind of the steal of the show for most people. At least the Verge quotes that. And as soon as you hit a button on the keyboard, you the screen extends upwards with the motors whirring, and it's kind of cool. But I don't think any real person is gonna buy it. Um, let's see how it turns out, and probably they're using the flexible OLED from Samsung. And yeah, I don't know. Would you buy a $3,500 rolling laptop? Let us know. LG. Okay, back to LG. LG is launched in Stand by Me, second generation. Last year we had a Stand by Me which could be folded into like a briefcase format and carried around anywhere. But now they're um going a step ahead. They have launched it with a stand, and it can also you can also hang it around anywhere now. So that is there. Then there's a weird sort of a product. It's a spoon that uses electricity to mimic the taste of salt. So basically, when you are having any food with that spoon, it generates a slight amount of electric current, which makes it feel as though you uh, are having salt. So it can reduce your consumption of salt while um, still having the food. So that's probably a good thing. Then there's a new another weird device is uh, people online are calling it a phone toaster, but basically it's like a because it looks like a toaster, and basically what you do is you put your uh, phone inside that, and there's some mechanism inside with which it swaps a battery. So basically you buy the case for it, and the case houses a battery inside it, and when you put it inside this toaster looking machine, it just swaps the battery within 2 seconds. So as long as you have a phone cover that supports this tech, you can use it with any phone. So if you are someone who doesn't want to charge your phone, you can use this technology, or maybe this technology becomes the future and you don't have to charge. You just keep swapping batteries over and over again.
But why do you need
um
a toaster for that? What? Why can't you just swap the battery yourself? I mean,
I mean the thing you put it in, it looks like a toaster. It's Yeah, circling back to Lenovo Yoga 9i, uh, which they had launched last year with dual screens. It just got an update with bigger screens. Now Lenovo is packing a 14-inch OLED screen with the same form factor as before. I remember, I think this was launched in India as well when I was looking to buy a new laptop. This was available in Chroma or something like that, but obviously the price was around 2 lakhs. And obviously it is just like a novel thing to look at the store. And New ThinkPads have been launched, but they have dropped their iconic design of the red um track button which they used to have. So RIP to that. And Lenovo Yoga Slim 9i has been launched with an under display webcam. So it has really thin bezels, making the screen to body ratio about 98.5%. But the under display webcam is not up to the mark with respect to quality. Dave 2D made a video about this laptop, and the webcam quality honestly looks trash to say to say the least. So hopefully in their further generations, if they make further generations of this under display webcam, it improves, because Red Magic has been doing it since a long time with their Red Magic number series of phones, and they're slowly getting better at it. So let's see what Lenovo can do. Razer has launched their gaming chair which can heat and cool the seat. So that's that's something cool for the gamers. Obviously there were a bunch of robots that were launched, uh, the cleaning robots, and now they come with hands and legs. So there's this robot cleaning thing which comes with a hand which can remove objects out of its way while cleaning. So even better stuff for lazy people who don't want to clean their mess. Then there's another robot which can probably like jump over the obstacles or like hover over them. Some and there was another robot which
There was
is
a
kind of like
BYD car also which came with a jumping suspension. Recently,
yeah,
it
that
could
that is
jump
also
on. I don't
jump
know if
over
it
the
was in
pothole.
CES, but yeah,
Yeah, it was a
probably
part
not.
of CE.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. So if you are a fan of cleaning robots, you can check those out. We'll put a link in the description probably. Um, there's an there's this product called MCon O-Snap, which is like a case. It's not a case. It's kind of like a device with which you can attach any phone to, and it becomes like a mobile controller. It gives you the PSP vibes. So they have a Kickstarter for it. If you are interested in this project, you can check it out. It looks pretty cool, to be honest. There's also a LG microwave. I mean, you might ask what's unique about it. It has a 27-inch display plus several cameras built into it, which allow you to follow along while your food cooks, so you can see a top-down view of what is cooking inside the microwave. If you're into that, probably you're a food blogger or you make like cooking videos, you can get cinematic content for your YouTube channel about stuff that's cooking inside your microwave. Then there's the Halliday XR glasses, the most interesting of all the uh, AR VR glasses that were launched. There were a ton of smart glasses as usual, but Halliday displayed Halliday's display is delivered to your eyes via a projection that points at your eye. The projector is called Digi Window, and the angle is adjustable to fit the wearer and projects a monochrome display that basically looks like the size of a smartwatch. Everything appears just above your typical eye line, and feels similar to the Google Glass, but the display location is much easier to see. And there's also a touchpad at the side of the glasses, which lets the users swipe to the UI. And there's also a ring which you can wear for more precise and faster control. Um, yeah, so most people were praising this. Now, finally coming to the cars, there weren't much this year around, but remember Sony Afeela, the first car by Sony made in collaboration with Honda last year? We have a price for it now. So the base variant is priced at $89,900, and the higher variant is priced at $102,000. So most people are calling it overpriced. It's basically like a normal car, but it just doesn't have side view mirrors and everything is a display. And Sony wants you to probably play PS5 in it and stuff like that. So um, obviously, it's a niche product. Most people will probably not end up buying it. And since we are talking about Honda showed off their Honda Zero concept SUV and even their sedan, which they're calling the Saloon or something. And the SUV looks similar to the Cybertruck, and um, the s- the sedan looks pretty decent in my opinion. We'll have to see if this concept becomes a reality and at what price they launch it and stuff like that. Last but not the least, I think the weirdest of them all is a car which has a flying quadcopter inside of it, and it's probably the craziest of them all. It's basically a huge ass car because it has to fit in the quadcopter inside of it, and yeah, I don't know. They're projecting it as though it'll give you freedom. You can take the car anywhere, and then you use the quadcopter to uh, reach new heights and stuff like that. So obviously, it may be a concept thing, and no real person will be interested to buy it, and they'll just um, drop it. So yeah, that's that about CES. We try to cover it as quickly as possible so that you get like maximum information at this shortest amount of time. If you're interested to know more about each and every gadget, we'll link the articles from where we got the information down in the description if you want to read more about it. Gautam, you have any thoughts before closing out?
My favorite things that we covered this episode was uh, definitely HDMI 2.2 because once it comes out, it'll be make a huge difference for all of us. And unlike the quadcopter car, it's something that we can actually maybe use in our life. And and I really like the Asus ZenBook A14. So if you guys have time, check
Yeah.
that one out too. Because in the middle of when Athar was talking about it, I didn't know about it before. So when I was scrolling and reading about it, yeah. So we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
Which was your favorite device of CES 2025? Let us know in the comments down below, and we'll
Exactly. Yeah.
catch you guys next week. Bye.